welcome. Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back. We're playing more Legendinthemist. We are continuing our Unseen Country campaign, which is basically exploring a lot of the sort of default setting, the campaign setting that's in the Hearts of Ravendale. So you're probably going to recognize this. We already started up Shadow in the Barley, so if you've read some of that stuff, that's the first adventure we've been doing, and we're going to tackle a few of those, I think, over the course of the next several sessions. We ended on some decisions. But before we get into that, why don't we just do a refresher? Why don't we go around and say who you're playing, and maybe give us like a little detail or two about your character sheet, like your themes, your tags, something that you just want to call out, whatever it might be. So we're going to start with GM number 2. Steven, go ahead.
Yes, I am playing Slag, Harden Smith. As you might guess, one of my themes is that I'm a blacksmith. But more than that, I am a curious blacksmith. I'm always trying to improve my craft. I'm inventive about it, and I'm a deep thinker. I'm constantly thinking about the art of smithing. And that's honestly a reason why I get along with Dimity, is because I can tell that she is also a skilled craft person. And I respect that. And I appreciate that she's trying to become better at her craft the same way I'm trying to become better at mine.
That's very nice. That's very nice. I'm glad that the two of you in play can get along, since you don't get along in real life.
We can make characters on paper that get along, but then when they actually interact,
then you start talking, and we realize that Melissa doesn't like Steve's character.
It all gets derailed immediately.
Well, speaking of Dimity, Melissa, tell us a little bit about her. Cannot hear you. You're gonna have to speak up louder, so loud that you can get through a mute button.
Dimity is a gossipy needleworker. So I have a little bit of magic with artful stitching. So there's a little bit that I can do with that. So I know like one particular stitch that I can do that's kind of helpful. And as we may have gathered from kind of the introductory scene between Dimity and Mila, she is a rumor monger. So that's kind of her personality. Very gossipy, rumory, wants to find the truth. And then as we also found out, I also have a companion named Sasha, who is my helper.
Fantastic. Who has a broken ankle or something, I think. Because didn't you on the very first roll of the campaign, Snake Eyes with poor Sasha?
Yep, Snake Eyes.
You had a wonderful companion named Sasha.
Well, I mean, her hands still work, and she is a craftwork apprentice. So, she can still, even while the leg is healing, can still be, doing the needlework.
Oh, I should have done that. She should have fallen and broken a wrist instead of an ankle.
Oh no!
Scratched. Can you just scratch Sasha? Just go ahead and scratch her.
No more.
Some say she's still falling today. It's crazy. All right. Let's see. Next up, Mila. Go ahead, Maitre. Tell us a little bit about Mila.
I'm playing Mila, she, her, your jovial brewmaster, and she's a big girl who looks like she has sparrows around because she does. And one of her weaknesses, which I do not consider a weakness, is that she is prone to debauchery. And that just feels like a description to me, not a weakness. So
just a life choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also very judgmental. Who are you to say what debauchery is? I'm not going to live within your moral confine.
Exactly. Okay. I'll be hedonist. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Joe, tell us about Mr. Spoonbill.
Yes, Spoonbill, as more commonly known. He is a sad kind of old man. Likes to gamble. Been around a lot. He would say of his own choice, definitely not because he doesn't get along with anyone and doesn't really have the means to maintain constant employment or housing. But yeah, likes to get around, see sights. He's got the sight, so he often sees things that other people can't. Well-traveled. He's tenacious, so could take a little bit more of a beating than you would think. got bad knees, can't ask for help, and known to the Red Marshals. So had some.
It's true, which
history with them.
immediately came up last session.
Mhm.
Immediately came. It's an extra Red Marshal noticed you, and I think didn't you scratch the site because you were trying to like get a feel for the room?
Yeah.
You got overloaded by too many.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Okay, and then last but certainly not least, Gwylt. Go ahead and tell us about him, Jeremy.
Gwylt is not Duck. He's an ornery old man who basically just lives by himself in the wilderness. Well, not by himself. He's got his giant riding goat, Biscuit. He is a foul-mouthed and insensitive sort. And more often than not, people would probably prefer to have nothing to do with him. But the fact that he is a curse eater makes him just useful enough not to completely shun him, at least to date. He's pretty headstrong. He's sure that he can handle things that he maybe can't at his age, but he refuses to admit it. And he's pretty foul-mouthed.
Yeah. So both you and Spoonbill are like old men. Is that the idea? Like we're playing?
Yeah.
Okay. And then is Dimity an old woman?
I put her a little more middle-aged. She's like been around enough to learn things, but is definitely in that like this is what she does is know all of
Gotcha.
the things and whatnot.
Yeah. And Gwilt's
Okay.
probably younger than Spoonbill, but curse eating probably puts a lot of miles on you.
Extra miles. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. I mean, same with the site too. Probably the two of you probably
Yeah.
look older than maybe you are. You know, seen some things.
We
Okay.
both look older in
Uh,
different ways.
Yeah.
And then I think Mila's our she's the youngest. I
She
think, is
is.
what it sounds like.
She is.
And then
She's
probably
a
Slag
young
and-
adult.
We're going with 37 for Slag. So he's
Wow,
an old
it's very
man.
precise. Okay. Yeah, he's ancient for sure.
Well, Mila thinks so anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So last time around, we started up on a country crossroads in Ravensdale, which is one of the dales within the setting. The five of you, some of you knew each other, some of you were traveling with each other. You were all probably relatively familiar, acquaintance-wise, with each other. All of you came together at roughly the same time, just happenstance, as a young girl by the name of Willow, known to those of you, I think, Dimity and Mila, as being from the nearby village, nearby hamlet of Ravenhome. She screamed because she was being attacked by some kind of dripping, wet, undead creatures who had stumbled out of the barley fields. You guys did what you could to kind of fight them off. There's more than one. Spoonbill, at one point, you did tap into your sight, speaking of which, and you saw some kind of dark aura around them that might be like controlling them or animating them or pushing them, something like that. But it did dissipate once the creatures were dispatched. Gwylt, you managed to catch like an eye on some of the markings on their armor, which is like reminiscent of some sketches you had in like a book that you carry, like this old compilation of text, something about old Gwyrdalin, which is like this ancient kingdom that predates the Dales. So you decided to escort Willow to Ravensdale, where rumors immediately started spreading around the village about these creatures, and people started kind of getting a little worried. Alderman Beeks, he tried to organize a meeting in the folk hearth to try to calm everyone down, but the ex-Red Marshal, who we've already mentioned, Alianora, she kind of riled out, wanted to take bands of people out and like take the fight to them. We're not going to just sit around in our homes and wait for these undead creatures to come hurt us. We're going to go find them. And then Gwylt kind of added on to that, and a few of you riled them up. There were a couple voices working against you. Alderman Beeks, who was trying to keep everybody calm. And then there was Macross, one of the farmers, who says like, "Everyone, we gotta flee. We gotta get the hell out of here. Like I've been telling you for years, this was gonna happen. We gotta go." But it seems as though between all of your arguments, Alianora as well, they sided with that concept. And so we ended last session with her organizing a few different bands to head out into the hills and the wilderness to start looking for monsters in the middle of the night. So that's where we're gonna pick up. So let me ask you guys we'll start up with kind of at the tail end of that same scene where we see people filing out, and we can see that some people are immediately following through on their promises, and they're like picking up pitchforks and they're picking up clubs and they're kind of, wandering off and away, maybe a torch or a lantern in their hand. Others are kind of like say we'll do it in the morning, when at first light. It's too dangerous to go out at night, that kind of thing. So which of those parties do you kind of fall into? Are you in the we'll do it in the morning when at first light when it's safer out there, or do you just say hell with it, let's go now?
I don't want to sleep in town.
I mean, we had a long day, and we've been traveling, and we just got to town. We haven't eaten yet.
It takes time to gather everything that we need to gather and make sure that, everyone there, not everyone was here just now. So we should, knock on doors, make sure we gather everyone that wants to go, pack up the things that we need, and then we go a higher degree of success.
Completely agree. And honestly, it's also rude to be knocking on doors this late at night. So maybe we should wait to knock on doors until tomorrow morning. We don't want to interrupt people while they're having dinner. It's calm, quiet time.
Well, I mean, the dinner time is the best time so that everyone can make their own family decisions about whether they're going to join or not. And around the dinner table seems like the best place to have that conversation. So I say we can kind of divvy up the town, and I can take northeast if we want to kind of split up with everyone, and everyone can take like a different quadrant, and we can knock on all the doors and we can see who wants to go, and we'll put lists together, and then we'll be ready to go morning light, and we'll be packed. Maybe? Yes? Maybe?
I could do that. What corner do you want me in?
If I'm doing northeast, then maybe southeast.
Okay.
Excellent.
What
Slag?
doors do you want me to knock on?
You know what? There's 4 quadrants, and I think there's 4, and I think we're good.
Okay, I'll be with the folks who are planning to leave now anyways. I'll keep them all fired up for you.
Right at the beginning of the session? Is that what's going on? A 5-way split?
We should plan for the morning, though. So, I mean, if you want to stay up all night and pack everything so that it's ready to go at morning, that's a great idea. Yeah,
Fine.
for sure.
If we want to have a mustering location, we can just use the Blind Ox, like my folks' tavern.
Great idea. Great idea. Give everybody a wet your whistle before we hit the road.
Absolutely. And we can't really go recruiting people without, on an empty stomach right now anyway. So let's just head that way right now.
Sounds good.
I'm for that.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do then. If you're gonna go in the morning, we're gonna play out of camp. So this is a little bit of downtime. This is also not a bad app. This could be an opportunity for some of you to get tags back that you might have scratched. And so kind of let's walk through how this works, because I know some of you haven't done this before and some of you might have forgotten. So a camp basically is it's downtime, and it's really just tonight in the early morning, and we basically play it out in sort of 2 phases called watches. There's the first watch, second watch, however you want to call it. And during each of those, you essentially you talk about what it is you're doing. So you describe like how it is that you're playing out the camp, but like mechanically, you actually get to do things like if there are certain statuses that we can expire that you shouldn't have anymore, or if there are maybe tags that don't really make sense from the previous scene, we can kind of get rid of those as well. But then you can also take some actions. So and each watch, each of the watches, you basically get to take some kind of get to do something. And so you could rest, which you can do once per camp. So you can't like do 2 different rests. You can't do rest on the first watch and rest on the second. You can do it one of the 2. And so for when you rest, you get to expire some of your statuses, some of your negative story tags, if it makes sense. You can also restore some of your power tags that would make sense coming back after a rest. So like Spoonbill, for instance, like maybe maybe you want to try to rest for one of your watches so that your sight can come back. If there's like a particularly severe status, you might just have it tick down, or if it's like a particularly severe tag that's too story focused, it might not be appropriate to remove. So we just kind of play it by ear, and just we're sort of flexible about it. Another thing you could potentially do for one of your watches is you could reflect. You can only do that for one. Again, you have to pick it just for one. And this is where you kind of just like process a little bit what's just happened to you. since the last time. Like you're processing this in some way. And mechanically, what this does is it lets you mark an improve box on any of your themes or on the fellowship theme that you all have. And if we were doing a sojourn, it's slightly more advanced. You actually just get an improvement because a sojourn's like a really long camp, but for us, it's just going to be one box. And then the other thing you can do for your watch is you can take a camp action. And so this sometimes requires a roll. There's kind of like a push your luck mechanic kind of thing. So things like bandage or heal, converse with other people, cook a hearty meal, craft or repair something, entertain others, hunt and forage, prepare for the next part of the journey. And so really what that boils down to is you kind of choose your action and you risk some consequences. And then you can either like actually roll, you like we normally would, count up all your power, etc., and roll and see what happens. Or you can actually just choose to just take half the power and be like, I don't want to roll. I'm just going to take half the power. And then you can maybe create a status or create a tag or something like that to reflect whatever it is that you were doing. And that status or tag will roll over into the next day and might be beneficial to you. So like if you wanted to give yourself like supplies 1 if you had 1 power to spend or something like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So with that in mind, we'll say it's nighttime. I'll say that those of you that have split up to go around Ravenhome and check in with other folks. Many people have already left. Some people are still here. Some people still are not particularly happy, and some of them are still scared. Not every single person. It's not a monolith. Not everyone acts the same way, but a larger portion of the population of Ravenhome has certainly been riled up enough that they're going to go fight monsters in the hills. So where do you think you all spend like maybe the first watch? Like, do you go and spend it at Mila's family's tavern, or do some of you venture off in different places?
So I was going to say that since my apprentice was injured, that I wanted to take the camp action of bandage or heal. Because I want to make sure that she is good to go for us heading back out on the road in the morning.
Okay. I mean, with that, one of the things you could potentially do is just make that a rest. You probably don't have to take a bandage action. So just her resting, okay. You can actually recover some of your that restores some of your power tags. And she is specifically a power tag. So you can probably just say just a night's rest will get the swelling in her ankle to go down, and then you can still reserve your second thing for something else.
Okay.
So
that was the one thing that I had for sure that I knew what I wanted to do.
Okay. So why don't you describe for a second where it is that you stay and whether or not Sasha stays there with you. I know we've already learned a little bit about like your store, a good yarn, but did you say there's like an apartment in it, behind it, above it, something like that?
Behind it. Yeah. So there's kind of the storefront. And then I would say there's sort of like a middle room that's behind the storefront, which is where like the sewing circle happens. And so it's sort of, then she has kind of a very small kind of just sleeping area because she has kind of the storefront and then the sewing circle area.
Gotcha. So we'll say then you retire to the good yarn. You don't go out partying with others at the tavern or whatever it might be, but you and Sasha retire and you make sure that she's keeping weight off of the ankle. She's keeping it elevated, and you're just kind of tending to her probably as you would. The whole time Sasha's probably like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into me. The road was so uneven. It was a pothole. Who puts potholes in country roads? The wagons travel through there. Someone could have, a donkey could have broken a hoof. Do they break hoofs?
Well, and Sasha, I certainly hired you for your handiwork and your, hand fine motor skills, not so much the hiking part. So I understand that.
Okay. So then let's turn to the other local. Mila, you say you go back to tell us a little bit about your tavern. that you and your family own?
So it's the family-owned tavern, and there's an apartment above it, which is where her mother, father, younger brother live. Right behind the tavern is sort of like a semi-private kind of residence that Mila is in, which also has sort of a workshop kind of thing attached to it for her to try out new liquor recipes and that kind of thing. So she spends a lot of time just kind of tinkering with these incredibly like detailed and difficult like recipes in her private time, and she will spend her camp time at the apartment. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to? So for your first watch, are you like reflecting on the day's events? Are you just getting an early night's sleep and going to rest, or is there an action that you're looking to take, a camp action?
I wonder if I might reflect.
Okay. Yeah. So you can mark and improve on any of your themes or on the fellowship theme. So it's however whatever one you think it is. And what do you think is going through? Give us a little insight into what's going through Mila's mind as she goes home and she starts to reflect on the day's events. Like, what is she thinking about? Like, how is she reacting to like the craziness of the day?
I think what's going through her head is that this just feels like the icing on a very crap cake of the last little while, where everything that could possibly go wrong has been going wrong. And the barley field that they were at, this is not something Mila has told anyone, but it's one her family is fairly familiar with. Like, she knows the owners of that field, and she is wrestling with whether or not she should tell them, like, what she should say, that kind of thing. So, and it feels like just one more thing of shit that's going wrong. And, so she is more frustrated than processing properly.
Okay. So do either of you, Dimity or Mila, invite Slag or Spoonbill or Gwylt
absolutely
a place to crash?
One of her weaknesses is needs constant company, so Mila absolutely does.
Okay.
That's a funny weakness.
What about Dimity? Do you invite anyone to stay at your place for camp?
I would say yes, she would. And the reason is, like, I think I have a plan for the second half, and so I would want someone to stay with Sasha for the second half. Okay.
So let's see. Let's start with Slag as the next most normal. So Slag, where do you think you crash for the night?
Well, you offer a place to stay. Does that include like food as well? Or is it just like, roof overhead?
I would say that it's both. So,
all right, you've got a mooch. So Slag will follow
Wrong
Dimity.
answer. I should have said no food.
Because he finds Mila just a little much at times. No, he doesn't have anything against her, but it's just sometimes you need a break from some people, Well,
and super high register there. Wow.
Right? And Dimity also has a tapestry that she's been working on, and so she would be more than interested, because we kind of talked about like the professional respect that we have, and so she would definitely be wanting to show off this tapestry that she's been working on. And so just even the pride of that, she would sort of be pigeonholing you that of course you're going to come and you're going to stay with her. And I'm going to show you the last, thing that I've got working on.
That would absolutely seal the deal for Slag, who would want to see your workshop anyways, just like what kind of tools you have and everything and how you've got your workflow set up, just to see inside someone else's production process.
Okay. And in terms of the first watch, what do you think you'd be doing? Are you resting? Are you reflecting Slag? Or are you trying to take a camp
I think
action?
I would reflect. And I think the way that he kind of, the trait I would like to mark improvement on is punishment enduring, where he suffers without anyone knowing. My quest is that it's a truth, pain hurts, but only for a minute. He's still poisoned right now, but he's still very much pretending that everything is normal. And that he's going to continue going on. And if he just ignores it long enough, he will be perfectly fine. And that is like what he is internalizing and reflecting upon right now.
Okay. And I'm going to say, because it was only poison 1, and because I think it's only poison 1 for you, correct?
Yes, poison 1.
So you can go ahead. I'm going to say you can go ahead and get rid of that at this point. We'll say the poison has run its course. You were fortunately, it didn't ever tick up much higher than that. So we'll say that that's part of an expiring status. We'll say just from the camp action, or from the camp. Okay. Where do we think we find Gwylt, Jeremy? Do you crash on someone's couch? Do you just sleep in the middle of town? What do you do?
If her family owns a bar, if there is a reason to stay in a town for a little bit, that's probably. And she did a number on that fella. Like she's a strong old girl, and she really kicked that thing's face in a night. I could keep her company. Maybe a Biscuit might actually get some real food.
Hell yes.
Okay.
She's in love with Biscuits. She is so happy about that.
Yeah.
I love that someone has a goat, so I can keep making those noises.
I think I'll do reflect basically on the card for Biscuit, my riding goat. And so a big chunk of the time will be spent like telling you more about Biscuit. Like he's got a couple of like really foul-mouthed limerick type songs that he sings. There's little spots where he can do a cue and Biscuit will chime in, and he'll teach you that.
Delightful.
And basically he'll just if you have basically any trash, because both Gwylt and the goat will eat trash.
Why Slag didn't want to stay, but it's okay.
And
so you're
he's just
probably really late. Like the goat is still. Your family is probably can you keep it down 3 or 4 times?
Mm-hmm. He's mean to people, but he's very loving to the goat. Just lots of chin chuckles and giving it bonks on the forehead, and telling him what a good boy he was and what a good job he did today.
Okay, he did do a great job. Your entrance was pretty spectacular.
It was fun.
As you rode off the hill and then pinned it right to the ground and everything. Yeah. Okay. And then finally, Spoonbill, where do we think we find you? Where do you think you camp out? Do you take it advantage of Dimity or Mila, or do you do something different?
Yeah, I think I would stick with people. So, because I picture he's kind of got a conflicting feeling about his site where it's a bit of a curse, but also he feels kind of naked without it working correctly because he relies on it so often. So probably wouldn't want to be too off on his own. And definitely would be kind of resting. The weakness that I have for the site is splitting headaches. So I imagine that it's just flared up really badly. He's just in a horrible mood, feeling awful. Yeah. That's kind of
I like to think of it you tried to tap into it in an extremely crowded room in the town, and it was just sensory overload. And now your brain is okay. That's perfect. Do you think you go to the tavern with Gwylt, or do you think you go to Dimity's with Slag?
Maybe the tavern, because it's probably something that fits in a little bit better for what he's used to. Kind of wants to slunk off. See if there's any games or something he can participate in based on who's in there.
Sure. Do you want this to be your camp action? You could potentially do a gamble kind of thing, or an entertain. You can do a camp action where you're trying to gamble or something.
I think that sounds like what he would do, even though he should be resting.
Okay. Well, you get 2 of these. So the first one could just
Okay.
be gambling, and then the second one could be resting. Okay. So then essentially what you're going to do, so we'll say you're inside the blind ox. It's getting a little late, but there's the older folks, the older men and women who aren't really riled up. They're like, they might be angry, but they're like, they point to knees and elbows and eyesight. They're like, hunting monsters is a young person's game. What an old person's game is dice. We play for keeps around here. And then they all like kind of pull out like wooden teeth, and they're like, stuff like that they're betting with. So
Lovely.
why don't you put together a pool, since we're going to take a camp action, put together a pool that you would use to gamble, like dice game or something like that. And we'll go from there. So what do you think that you would want to incorporate?
So he's definitely not playing fair. So I'm leveraging nimble fingers. Maybe well-traveled, just to see if there's like stuff I can throw out that I've picked up along the way that kind of distracts people, anything like that. Keep conversation going. That's kind of all I can think of for my tags that'd be helpful.
Yeah,
so if I
would
burned
give you
the site, how does that? Am I able to use other tags on the site, or how does that work?
On the same theme? Yeah, you can use the other tags on the same theme. You just can't use the site. The site, that tag is scratched for now. But the other ones on that same theme book, you still could.
Okay. So I would probably throw in Pierce Through Deceit too, to try and read people, see who's doing well, and read bluffs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'd give it, and I would say, I don't remember the exact phrase, but I would probably give these gamblers like country bumpkins or something like that. Like they're maybe not the most savvy of folks, so you can get an extra power just from them being just a little, just naive country folk.
Okay.
So we'll say that. So what's that put you at, 4?
Yes. 4.
So you have a choice.
Although, I am suffering from my splitting headache, I'd said, so that's probably a negative to offset that.
Did we give you that as a tag? I don't remember. As a status?
I didn't take it as a tag, but I would say that's probably what's hitting him with.
Hey, if you want to penalize yourself, you go right ahead. I'm not, but if you want to, you go right ahead. Okay, so you have a choice. So you can either roll it like normal, and risk perhaps failing and taking a consequence, or you can say, let me just cut my power in half, and that's how much I'm going to spend, right? And you don't roll it, you don't risk consequence, but you don't, so this is very much a gamble. So you can either potentially roll it, succeed, have 4 power to play with, or if you fail, you might have some consequences coming your way. So it's just your choice. What do you think you would do?
It feels illegal to just not gamble on a gambling test. So I think
fair.
There is a meta
I've got to
there.
roll it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, give it a roll. 2d6 plus, I think we said 4. Go right ahead, man.
Oh
Double
my
sixes.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
See?
Okay.
You did the thing that was appropriate, and the dice gods rewarded you.
I did it.
Fantastic. Okay, so you've got 4 power that you can. You got 4 powers that you can spend. You can spend 2 to create a tag that could like carry over to the next day. So you could, and then you can also do statuses, but statuses would be more like 1 point per tier of it. So like, what do you think you want to get out of this? If you have ideas, we can play around with it, or I can make suggestions.
Say if they've got any money, like maybe just like a minor plus of having some money to spend if we need it, and then definitely just kind of rumor mill stuff. See if there's anything we should be concerned about, other things that have been happening in the area, that kind of stuff. People we should be wary of, just anything like that.
Okay. So if you want, you can give yourself like money isn't really a thing. Like in other games, it's not quite, the economy is not quite like that, but you can give yourself something like well compensated, like just give yourself like well compensated 2, give yourself that tag. And so if at any point, like, you get in some sort of situation in which, like, you having extra things on you that you could barter with would be of value, then you could potentially do that.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, the other option you could do is we could say that one of those NPCs had a specific thing, and then we can create that as a story tag and put it in your backpack. That's another thing we could do too. So those are some options.
That would be for another one of the power is.
Yeah, you have 4 to play with. So you've already spent 2 on your well-compensated status. And so, like, you could spend the other 2 on creating a story tag that something you got from them, and now it's in your backpack. So, like, one of them, I said wooden teeth. Maybe that doesn't excite you that much. But, like, conceivably, we could say you won those wooden teeth, and now you have a wooden teeth as a story tag in your backpack right now.
Yeah, that's true. Replacement.
There's a certain Jeremy character who would love this.
I was just thinking about that.
But it doesn't have to be that. It could be something else. What do you think would entice Spoonbill? Like, what do you think it was? Like, what's an object someone would have?
I feel like loaded dice.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea. Like, I feel like you'd be able to kind of pick out if there's anything that they're trying to do to cheat, if they've got like a cheat die, or maybe it's not even like intentionally a cheat die. It's just not a very good die, and they're not realizing that it's rolling
like
a particular
and weighted wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's able to
pick
pick up on
a
that.
bone
weighted
carved.
die.
Okay.
Yeah, put a weighted die in your as a tag in your backpack. Okay.
Yep.
And that's your power. You've spent it. So you not only did you get like a bunch of random little things, little bits and bobs, pieces of silverware, a nugget of ore, that kind of thing, but you also begrudgingly won this loaded die of some old granny woman who, like, my grandson made this for me. I suppose. A wager's a wager. Here you go, young fella. I hope you have better luck with it than I did. And
it's sweeter
you
when
take this.
You hate parting with it.
Yeah, I'm going. You're a sassy fella, aren't you? Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not in a good mood.
I'm watching you.
I just
Wait,
realized
where'd you
I really
go?
like Spoonbill.
Okay, and so we'll say then that's your first watch. Sound good?
All right. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right, second watch. We can just go around these and go to rapid fire. The second thing you might want to do, I'm gonna go start with Dimity. Dimity, what do you think you do? Like, it could be morning time, it could be later that evening. What do you think your second watch is gonna focus on?
I would say that her second watch is focused on the camp action of prepare for the next part of the journey, which really is sort of putting into mechanics what we had talked about of trying to gather the largest group of people possible to go with us and help us with this. And so she is going to be like slipping notes under doors and, talking to people who might still be awake. And so, kind of all of her rumor mongering, like all of the rumor related things is that she's going out and like selling up this, like, your village needs you to, go help with this. And it would be a shame if you didn't come and you stayed with all of the, folks with the, injuries or whatnot. So yeah, all of that kind of thing.
Put together a pool. Then this is you're taking a camp action. So put together a pool. And you just really want all of these delightful neighbors of yours to just suffer so much.
I'm trying to help our chances of, having a good, yeah. I mean, she doesn't know that she's playing in a game where bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, put together a pool. And then we'll make the same choice that you had that Joe just had to make.
I'm gonna roll it because I've just got 2, so I'm
Okay.
gonna give it a roll and see what happens.
All right, yeah, go for it. Oh boy.
Yeah, and get both of the 2.
Okay.
I rolled a 13.
All right. So do you just want to take that to? Okay. You just want to make like a status, like reinforcements, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So we'll go reinforcements 2, and we'll say we'll treat it as a status because if bad things happen, maybe one of those reinforcements doesn't make it back, and we go down to reinforcements 1 or something like that. So we'll make it a status as if that makes sense. Okay.
Like it.
So yeah, you find some gullible fools who wake up in the morning and they see you guilting and you browbeat them into coming, and so yeah, you'll say in addition to Sasha, you'll get 2 other bumbling Ravenhome folk to come with you, and then let's go. Who else we got? Mila, what's your second watch going to focus on?
Also, prepare for the journey. Specifically, I wanted to go out and look for a rock for each of us that was similar to the one that Gwylt had me bash the thing sent in with.
Okay. So you want to try to collect some big rocks? Okay. Yeah.
For all
put
of
together
us.
a pool. Yeah, put together a pool. Sounds like a camp action. So put together a pool for searching around or something like that. And I'm gonna say this area particularly well. And I probably should have given this to Dimity too, because you're both locals. So I probably should. So make it reinforcements 3, Dimity, because you would have had an extra power. So Mila, I'll give you an extra power just because it's like your home village, right? This is your local place. You know the best place to go for rocks or whatever. There's the rock store down on 4th Street.
I cannot think of anything apart from strong as an ox and test of strength for breaking rocks off of bigger rocks.
Okay, so you're gonna find a big rock and break it down into a smaller.
Yeah.
Sure, we could do
you
that.
Sense what makes others happy, because we'd be happy to go out fully geared up with some rocks.
Does
Does that help her find the rocks though, or does that just help her know what's gonna make you happy? I
Yeah.
don't know if that helps her find rocks though.
No.
Well,
It
get them to
doesn't.
talk. Maybe she's interrogating these rocks before she's breaking them down.
She finds one rock, and she interrogates it, and lets it know where's the rest of your.
Where are your
family?"
rock
Something like
friends?
that. Where are your rock friends? Okay. Why don't we say strong as an ox, test of strength, and then I'll give you the one for being a local.
So that is a 1 on my positive mod? Is
that's a total
what it
of
is?
3. Yeah. Oh yeah. 1 in addition to your two power.
Okay.
Okay. Man, you guys are rolling.
Did it
Fucks
show
tonight.
up for you?
Yeah, you crushed it. You rolled a 12.
Oh,
Okay.
amazing!
Okay. Do we want to let's see. Do we want to make how do we want to do this? We could just make a status of a bag of rocks and
Hell
so
yes!
it's gonna have multiple uses. Yeah, okay.
Hell
Something like that.
yes. Back rocks.
Okay. And then it's the first time you use it, you have a bunch of them, and then maybe it's something like that. We'll make it work. Okay. Slag, what do you think your second watch is going to focus on?
Yeah, I think the best way Slag could help everyone is, he's a blacksmith, putting his skills to use, repairing anything that is, like his shield probably took a little bit of damage, so making sure that band is tight. If someone has a pitchfork that needs to be sharpened, things like that. Just generally speaking, trying to put those skills to work to make sure that we are as well equipped as possible.
Okay, so you want to do your camp action as well?
Like a repair, essentially, or craft.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and put together a pool, same thing as before, and then you make the choice if you want to risk it or not.
So I'm thinking blacksmith and blacksmith hammer because I don't have my forge. And then I also would take the drawback no forge for Miles because I don't have my forge with me. And then
You did, however, make a friend named Jordy who is a local smith. So if you
I
wanted
kind
to
of want
use
the
his-
improvement though, Jeff.
Yeah, okay, here we
so-
go. All right, here we go.
I would also argue for inventive because I'm using Divity's workshop. So like trying to make a sewing workshop adapt for a blacksmith. That fair?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. That is a 11.
You guys are rolling out of your minds tonight. Okay. All right. So you have 2 power that you can spend. Did you actually scratch your shield during?
I did
during our
not
last
scratch
session?
my shield. No.
Okay. Do you want to create a status that says it's like reinforced or something, so you can do something like
Yeah, I
that, or
was
do you have something
thinking,
else
like,
in mind?
Keen edges or something like that. I was hoping for something a little
Yeah.
bit more communal. Like it wasn't just my shield that I was working on, but like just like all the reinforcements that Dimity's bringing. If they come in with a pitchfork, I'm
Sharpen
sharpening
steel, yeah.
whatever they've
Something
got.
like that. Yeah, sharpen steel.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome. Then Gwylt, what is your second watch going to focus on?
Well, I mean, no, not to guilt trip, but you kind of stole my thunder letting him just heal his poison. I really wanted to heal his poison for him, but that's not happening. Like, I know that there was the one really awesome old lady who's like really fired up to go do this, but it sounds like there's some of the people coming to help us that like maybe aren't really, that into it. And one of the things I'm pretty good at doing is like finding people's insecurities, like kind of figuring out what it is that they're uncomfortable with. So he'll try to observe that, and he'll try to use some of his knowledge as a hillcrester to kind of explain like where we're going. They like kind of let them feel comfortable. Like, here's where we're going to go. These are the things you need to look at. This is the path we're probably going to take. And then dispense some bitter wisdom. Like, you guys aren't legendary swordsmen. Don't go out there thinking you're going to do that. Bring your walking sticks. Bring your pitchforks. Bring reach weapons. Hold things back. And if one of you gets poisoned, he'll say Eifern. Basically means, devil blasted or whatever. It's an old word. But it's something like, if you hear that, that person's poisoned, form up around him, don't let him get swarmed. And basically trying to like give them some legitimate feedback of like how to support each other. And unfortunately, as he's doing that, he is kind of insensitive, so he probably does insult a couple of them. Like, he maybe points out somebody that has like a little bit of a limp, or like, he means well, but he can't help but like poke at somebody.
Okay, I just want to see if I understand like the goal here, though. Like, you've got reinforcements. They've got sharpened equipment. So, like, what are you adding to this now?
What he's trying to get them to do is to kind of make them feel comfortable supporting each other and like kind of work cohesively. Like, basically, like, have reach weapons, have a walking stick, be poking ahead of you, feel comfortable in your environment. If somebody does get poisoned, call it out so that they don't get overwhelmed. And then push, like, let that person fall back.
I'm just trying to understand so that when you roll, like, I know where you're going for, because her reinforcements are, because we've got reinforcements, we've got sharpened weapons, and so like, what are you hoping to accomplish with like this task? Are you trying to get something?
Are they like motivated?
When I say accomplish, I'm like mechanically. Are we talking like you're trying to collect more people? Or are you trying to make?
No, it's less about collecting more people. It's basically about having them prepared or able to work well together. Like using reach weapons, having a code word to call out that if you get poison, coordinated. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So let me click a few tabs.
I just want to throw a shout out to raids that we've gotten. Thank you, Tabletop Misfits and Table of Horrors.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you to both of you. We appreciate it. Hope you had good streams tonight.
And then do quick roll.
Where it's going to be detailed because the power needs to be measured. Doesn't. Man, you guys are rolling so well. Every one of you has rolled over 10. Like every single.
That's crazy.
10. Okay. So you have 3 power total to spend. So how do you want to spend it then? So we're just going to do like coordinated.
2 could be a tag for coordinated, or is it better to do a tag or just do a condition of?
I think coordinated is totally fine. You could also say like inspired 3 as a status. You
Okay.
can do like inspired 3, and then like that's as consequences I could potentially lower, like there maybe,
I
kind of stuff.
I don't feel like Gwylt's a particularly inspiring person. I'd almost rather have like some sort of coordinated tag and maybe like 1 point of inspired.
Well, just remember how it works. Like the mechanics work. Like you can only apply like a single positive status
okay.
to a roll, and it's the highest status, and then like the lowest status as well. So the most harmful and the most detrimental. So like
That makes
if
sense.
they have like 5 different statuses at 1, that's not helping them. But if they have 1 status at 3, like that's getting
Okay.
3 extra dice.
That's
So-
why I thought if they could have it, because I thought you could potentially have a tag and a status.
No, you certainly could. You can add up all the tags. So all the tags get added up that factor into a roll. But with the status, it's only the best and the worst that get applied. So you can have like 5 different statuses. You're still only
didn't
gonna ever apply
Slag
the best
give
and the
them a
worst.
status of?
He's got sharpened steel, which is sort of like a story tag for the group.
Yeah.
I would say just make that a tag. You don't have to necessarily make.
Yeah, that's why I figured me giving them a tag is better. Because he more than likely his tag or his status will be better. So I felt like it made more sense for me to give them a coordinated tag.
Okay, we'll do.
So you've got 1 status and 1 tag on the group.
I'm just thinking about it from the perspective of like depletion, right? Like a bag of rocks over time, we're going to run out of rocks, right?
Okay.
Sharpened steel over time is going to dull. Coordination, like, is it a permanent thing or is it something that they have? Well, it's fine.
I'm trying to just have a different
It's
angle.
okay.
on
Like
it.
you guys have severely buffed up the regular rustic folk that you're bringing along with you to do the work the heroes are supposed to do. But yeah, so we've got coordinated, sharpened steel, and we've got they are there. That you have reinforcements. Spoonbill, what would you like to do?
So is it still same night or like?
It's a second watch, so it could be the morning, it could be night. So flavor wise, it's like you can flavor it however you want. You just have to decide what your second is going to be. Do you want to rest? Do you want to reflect? Or you want to do a camp action?
I think I need to rest and get my sight back.
Okay, that makes perfect
At this
sense.
point, yeah.
So, okay, so yeah, go ahead and
focusing on that.
Yeah, go right ahead. So yeah, you just crash out with your new die and your filled pockets of loot, and you get rest for the night. Okay, and so then we'll say at long last, like, you guys have done all of your preparation. You've got a small group of 3 followers that are coming along with you, and they have these glisteningly sharp pitchforks ready to fight monsters that may or may not be out there. And so I guess the question is like, where do you guys want to go searching for them? Like, what do you think? You know that you saw these undead creatures around the crossroads to the west of here. You know that they were dripping wet. And so I would say locals, Dimity, Mila, you would probably know that there's like a bog to the south of the crossroads. That's probably the closest like body of water. It's not really like can't think of like a river or a lake or anything like that, but that's probably the closest, and it's not too far from that crossroads. So that's probably something that might have been on your mind at one point or another.
That is actually what I was going to ask, is where's the closest body of water? And if that's what we know, then sharing that with everyone, suggesting that's where we go, the source of it all.
Yeah, Mila, I think that makes a lot of sense. If they were soaking wet, then they had to get the water from somewhere. So that's exactly where we should go. Great idea.
Okay. Beams at the coffin.
So you guys finally depart town. The whole time, like, you see other groups coming back. and some groups also leaving and going in different directions. Some groups that are coming back, they might like be boasting like a fox that they caught or something like that. But you never hear like as you're passing by, you don't hear stories of like other undead that they found or a monster or a ghost. There are like rumors now of like certain groups that went out and haven't come back yet. Like, so you're hearing that there's folks that haven't returned. So maybe they found something. And then like, as you're passing by groups, like they're also saying, we checked out this place, we checked out that place, and you know, this, that, and the other. And so lots of locations like Dimity and Mila would be familiar with like this hill or this gully or this farm, you know, or this abandoned cabin out in the hills. And all the while, like everyone's kind of coming up empty. And so you all depart Ravenhome with your entourage. I think in total there's 5 of you. Sasha makes 6, 3 villagers that Dimity guilted into coming, and a goat. So there's about 10 of you that are in this big mob that are moving down the road. And eventually you kind of get back to the crossroads, and then you start veering southward. And even though the country road doesn't actually go southward, you're more crossing through fields, doing your best not to offend farmers, veering around places that might have been like recently planted or harvested in some way. And you find yourselves eventually like ascending into some hills for a bit. So Gwylt, you would very easily be able to navigate this, you and Biscuit having no trouble whatsoever. And it's like kind of this chain of hills that essentially encloses the valley to some degree, that actually encloses Ravensdale, like the entirety of the dale. And occasionally there are some signs that kind of point to this landmark or that landmark. In other cases, like you're just finding like these old like goat paths that are easy enough to find your way up. These hills eventually become more like forested trails now, like mountain trails, and you no longer can look back and see like the golden barley fields anymore. They become kind of this distant, something that you have to hold your hand up to. Apple orchards you can see as you look backwards, but you don't really see them as you look forward. And as you look forward, it's just this kind of dark, ominous forest atop the hill, and then you see clouds on the horizon as it looks like rain might be coming. An hour or two continues to pass, and like the curves of the hills, they start to soften. The trees lighten a little bit here and there, and every now and then you hear the sounds of birds fluttering in some of the branches, and you see ravens perching, kind of watching as you go every now and then. There is a kind of a strange feeling that I think some of you, especially Spoonbill and Gwylt, and even Dimity, those of you who might be tapped a little bit further into some of the old ways, you kind of feel this strange hum, like almost like a whisper, starting to descend here and there. And as you crest over like this hill and descend down into these dense woods, you find yourselves staring out at this boggy terrain. You can see like the water kind of lapping around. You can hear the sounds of insects, and you can see like the water itself is quite dark, quite murky, and it looks very much like that which was dripping from these creatures that you fought. Not only that, but you notice that there is a building, a ruin, erupting up in the middle of like this large bog. It's like this circular building itself. It's certainly not anything that is inhabited. Instead, it looks more like it's long been sunk beneath the bog itself. And you can see like the roof doesn't seem to be intact anymore. It's relatively circular, and you can see some of the walls themselves have collapsed into the water. You don't see any doors actually as you peek around, and maybe you send your reinforcements to kind of do a circumnavigate around it a bit here and there, and they report back there are no doors. There's only like a window or two. And you get the sense that like the part of the building, which, you know, is now above ground, likely is like a 3rd or a 4th story. and that the entrance to the tower has been sunk into this bog in some way. And it's just this murky, terrible, terrible place. It smells foul. You can see that there are footprints and tree limbs that are kind of been chopped down and broken, and definitely some drag marks coming out of the bog itself, confirming that likely this is the source of those creatures that you all encountered at the crossroads. And it's just not water that you can see through. What do you think you all are doing and thinking or saying to each other as you first arrive here?
That is just not what that's supposed to look like. That's the roof, and there's a level that we can see, but there's no door.
It's an old world. And there's lots of nasty things that get sunk away over time.
But we might want to take a look at that. Perhaps if this is where they came from, we might want to find our way over to that somehow.
I should have asked. Did we think about light sources for ourselves? It's going to be dark and nasty in there.
I'm sure of all of the things that Spoonbill won in the gambling.
I won this nifty little oil lantern last night.
All right.
Perfect.
I don't want to be the one to. I've been having a run of bad luck recently. Things just have been going poorly for me in a general sense of the word. And I don't think this is the type of thing that regular folk are supposed to be messing around with. What? Are we sure we want to go in there?
Well, so who exactly would you call on to come deal with it then? And how long will it take for them to get here? And how many people are you willing to sacrifice while you're waiting?
Well, we don't even know if this is the problem. I wouldn't necessarily say call on someone else. I mean, oftentimes if you ignore a problem, it goes away on its own. It's already sinking in the water. It's only got a couple more feet to go and then it'll be gone, right? Just, maybe 10, 15 more years?
You do remember those things yesterday were watery. Do you think that them being submerged in the water is going to make them less watery?
I'm just saying that
I've had some... You're an artisan. You know that if there is an imperfection in what you're doing, you cannot ignore it, because then you will continue on with the project and you will invest more work into it, and then you will wish that you had gone back and taken care of that impurity from the beginning.
That's a smart woman there.
I just don't want to go first.
Fine.
Well, that's
you can bring up the rear.
I can go
first. I don't know if I want to go last either.
I want to see if I can get the same kind of weird vibe, see the weird spirit things that were kind of hovering over the zombie guys that we fought.
Okay, I'm going to say this just works for you because your sight's back. You're not really under pressure.
Sweet.
But you're definitely getting a sense, like your sight is giving you like these strange auras and colors that seem to be not so much the tower, like when you actually look at the part of the tower, like the maybe story and a half that's above water, that doesn't really seem to like set off your sight. But when you look down into the opaque foggy water, as you stare at it, even though you can't see like the leaves and all that such below, you can start to see these different colors start to shift, almost like the way like a rainbow color would start to show in like oil slicks and things like that. And you get the sense that it's actually something deep below the water, not actually the tower itself that seems to be radiating this strange aura.
Something that's
So-
been submerged in there's making everything unhappy. I can't see it,
And-
but
As you're like standing there, like leaning over, you hear a voice. It's very perceptive of you. And you look to your left and you see coming out from behind this rock, there is a very slender, kind of willowy looking figure. This woman, fairly young, it looks like, as you stare at her, kind of has this kind of auburnish color hair. And she's like, she steps out and she's like looking at you, and then she's looking down at like where you're looking. And she says, are you planning on going down there? I would very much appreciate if you do. Perhaps you would be willing to do me a small favor while you're down.
Look back to everybody else and make sure I'm not seeing something. Is everyone else able to see and hear this person, or are they reacting as if they
Everybody else can see. Everybody else
favor,
can
you
see
say?
her, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, there's something down at the bottom of the tower that I would like to have. I would like you to retrieve. Now, I do it myself, but and she like gestures to herself, and she's very slender, very thin, and she's dressed like in like the garb of like a wanderer or a traveler. Like you don't really see any like weapons or anything on her. Maybe like a knife on a belt, but nothing more than that. But she looks like more like a scholarly figure than she does like somebody with muscles and athleticism. And she says, yes, there is a chest, you see, at the bottom of the pool, and there are certain items in that chest. Well, one particular item, in fact, that I would very much like to have back in my possession. And you, merry band of wanderers, came at such a perfect time. I was worried that I was going to fail on my task, but now all that you are here, clearly, the strength of the local folk can help me out. Yes?
You
Does
know,
that mean that you are not local?
No, think about how long it would take for this place to sink, and if she knows about the thing in the chest, what that means.
How do you know about a thing in a chest at the bottom of this?
Oh, well, I am a collector of certain relics, and I research various sites, various ruins. Have you heard of the? She like kind of looks at all of you, trying to appraise just how seasoned maybe all of you might be. Have you heard of the? Are you aware of the kingdom of Gwylt? Does that name register with you? Well, excellent. Then this makes this explanation all the easier. I am a historian of sorts, and there is an item in the down there that I've been seeking. I would like to return. My family, my kin, they hail from long ago. We've fallen on some hard times, and it's been that way since the fall of Gwylt, and I am trying as best I can to recover certain items to help better my kin. And through my studies, here is an old room.
What is this item?
Oh, it's a family heirloom. Yes.
Whose family? Your family?
My family, yes. It's an opal. It's a gem.
How do you know what's in there?
Oh, I've studied histories for many years. Yes, I've narrowed it down to either this location or there are others, but I feel very strongly that it's here.
Why here? What is this place?
Oh, well, if you're curious, I could certainly divulge more of that if you like. If that is,
I'm curious.
Well, is that a requirement then for you? Are you agreeing to help me then?
Are you aware of the danger that you're asking us to engage in? Because we recently came upon some, and she sort of will lean in, some creatures that crawled up out of this water.
Well, there are so many of you here. I'm sure that you all will be well reinforced. You look all very prepared. You all look, some of you, especially you, young man, as she looks over at you, Slag, you look quite fit, quite capable. And you, young lady, this gestures towards Mila. And then again, she looks back at herself, and she's very like willowy and small, and she's not frail. She's just very small.
Can
What's your name
again? What's your family?
You can call me Nomia Sorrowbomb.
Mm-hmm.
Do I recognize that name as they throw that out?
You do
At least the family
know.
name.
Would I be able to, like, I have attention to detail and find out the truth? Like, I'm wanting to do some kind of a role of her presentation if she seems like she's changing little bits of her story along the way, or if this seems like something that she believes or something like that. Just kind of trying to get a sense of her.
Okay, you're just trying to get a sense of like she's being deceptive, or if she's we can do something like that. I'm gonna do a little something on my side. Okay, and obviously she's got tags that can work against this in some way.
Find out the truth and attention to detail seem like they would be relevant tags for this.
Okay, yeah. So you're trying to get a sense of her.
So that is an 8, depending on what you have working against me, though. Like, I only count on
there was a minus
positive.
2 that apparently didn't work.
Okay.
The way
So then I rolled a 6.
Okay. So yeah, you're kind of struggling to get a read on her, but she looks over at you, like her eyes like come into the corner of the sockets and she sees you. Let me ask you a question, Dimity. What type of, like, if you were making a deal with somebody, like in your mind, like if she's saying, oh, like I can offer you payment, what would the first thing come into Dimity's mind that she would accept as payment for such a task? What is something Dimity would want? Like, oh, payment for this? What would that be?
Because she is such a busybody, I would say, speaking of our bravery and exploits, like that, like social currency for her is the most important currency.
And as her eyes, like as she catches you with her eyes, but then like her smile grows into the side, and then her whole head turns and looks at you. And of course, I would speak glowingly of all of you for taking on such a dangerous task. I would sing your praises far and wide. I'm going to go ahead and drop a little status on you for this this failure here. I feel like there you go.
I have bought her. I have bought what she is selling.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh,
love it.
Well, yes, this is exactly what we need. We should get right to figuring this out. How we're going to get over and down.
Yeah,
we already decided we were going to go in there. Like, if you know something about the place, though, you still haven't told us what this place is. If we're going in there, tell us what we're going into.
Or do your studies tell you why these things are coming out of there doing what they're doing? Will getting your family relic back stop that?
Well, how about this? You have something that I need, the physical tools to reach the bottom of this lake. And I have knowledge that I can share. It sounds like we have something that each other wants. And that sounds like the making of a deal, does it not?
Do you need me to actually say we're making a deal? I said we're going in there. Yes, we have a deal. Okay, now can you tell us what's going on?
Well, I can tell you what I know. I can tell you, as I said, I mentioned Gwyrdelin. In the days of old, this was a watchtower of Gwyrdelin. And I assume some of you have already shown recognition that you know that Gwyrdelin was a kingdom led by thaumaturges. And many of the watchmen within these towers, at the very least the highest ranking officers, they were practitioners of thaumaturgy. But don't be too concerned. I'm not asking you to go. The tower itself is but a ruin. There is a chest at the bottom. That is all I wish you to retrieve. It is there at the bottom of the lake. It wouldn't take you very far to swim down there at all. I'm not capable of doing such a thing, though, as you can tell.
So it's a watchtower. There's a chest at the bottom. You don't know if there's any sort of danger inside. You know nothing else about the place.
And also, would the guards that would have worked there, and she's going to describe what we saw, the attire of the one that we fought the day before, and kind of describe that. Is that what they would have been wearing?
Yes, you're very perceptive. Yet another trait that I will sing of when I speak of your praises to far and wide. The heroes of this place called Ravensdale.
Right. Not perceptive so much as they tried to kill us. You tend to get a good look at things that try to kill you. That's what happened yesterday.
Yes. 6 in one, half dozen in the other.
Right. So let's figure this out. Let's get on it. Spoonbill, you have a light source? You won in your... You always amaze me. You don't work particularly hard, but you always seem to end up with things. Your gambling seems to pay off so much.
Pretty good at it. Yep, got a light source.
All us saying you got a light source. I don't think that's actually what we said.
There was a bits and bobs
die,
and the way to
and
die.
you filled your pockets with goodies. We didn't say anything about a lantern.
Oh,
That's
I
a
thought
different thing. You all had
10
I thought we said we had an underwater lantern, like specifically. Like that was exactly
you guys
what we
had
said.
10 opportunities
scuba gear.
to just do like a well-prepared or get supplies or something like that. Yeah.
Pretty sure we said submarine at one point. Like that was...
Yeah.
As you guys were talking about that, like, if you need a lantern, I certainly could supply one. If that would be... So you could keep it, even.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
And she's like still holding on to it, though. We have a deal, though.
Yes.
And she looks at Slag, and I'm sure that while you're down there, I could rack my brain for perhaps other little details of this ruin. If you're interested in history, that is.
I'm interested in knowing what I'm walking into, yes.
I think you're swimming into it.
That we are. We're ready to go. We've yes, we want to get down there and get back up as quick as we can in case more of those guards that you talked about decided to stop being dead under the water.
Okay. Gwylt, you've been breathing heavily. Is there something that Gwylt would like to do? I'm going to give you the spotlight here for a second before we start diving in.
I mean, Gwylt is just trying not to say, he's trying to hold back from saying what he wants to say because he's pretty sure we're all going to be properly fucked by a deal with this lady. He's just like looking her over to see if there's if her garb or if the knife on her, if there's anything. He feels like she isn't normal, and she probably is old-blooded. This is probably, if this is her family place, he assumes she's of that old blood, and there's something off with her. So he's just looking the garb, the knife, whatever she has on her, to see if there's something that helps confirm that.
Yeah, you look at her, you look at her clothing, you look for anything that suggests signage, and you do not see anything. She looks just like a traveler. She does, however, catch your eyes as you're looking her over. And while she's like pulling out the lantern that she's going to offer to you all, if that is helpful, you also see her like with a sound of like a clink in some of her in one of her pouches. She pulls out what looks like a small amber coin, and all of you would know what these things are. As these amber coins, it's not like currency in the sense of like a nickel or a quarter. These are much different. They are like any Dales person, which means all of you, even the most isolated recluse, as written in the book, by the way, Jeremy. So even you, custom is you would accept such an ancient coin in return for a great favor or service performed, and it is actually taboo to refuse the request of somebody presenting an amber coin unless there's certain exceptions, like if the task is beyond your ability, or if it's going to harm you, or if you already possess an amber coin. So it's the type of thing that is very it's highly prized and highly sought after, and usually people are happy to oblige to trade. And she just like flourishes one in her hand out of like this clinking bit of coin, and it's like considered good luck. And I know all of you have had a run of very bad luck of late. If this would ease your troubles, you could have this simple trade, opal for coin.
Oh, damn me! But that's a good. I love the idea of that. I'm gonna regret this later, but yeah.
Excellent. I will speak highly of your kindness, your acts of bravery. You could keep the lantern. In fact, I have plenty. And the coin for you, good sir. Knowledge for this one. My dear, is there anything that I could provide to you? As she turns to Mila.
Mila has just been watching her this whole time, falling deeper and deeper in love. And, so she will kind of shake her head and say no, nothing more is needed, because she just likes this lady.
Okay. And so she'll probably very slyly and probably without letting anybody else see, she'll just give you like a tiny little wink, and then she'll turn back to the rest of the group.
Practically preen.
Give yourself tempted one. I can do it. I can drag, because that's the same thing I gave.
I am tempted one.
Ooh.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Right under your sheet.
Super secret tag.
It's not super secret. I'm just using the actual system to do it, the drag and drop.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay, so you have this lantern. You've made a deal. She's like looking at you with anticipation. Is there any, if you wanted to say or ask anything more right now, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, who would want the spotlight as the first to?
I will take point because I want to show off to her.
Okay.
But legitimately, can you tell us if retrieving these for you will stop these things, or is that part of the knowledge you'll share afterwards? That's all I care about.
Well, I can certainly give you context as to why this tower and why those, but the treasure I'm asking for has nothing to do
Okay. All right.
with
I picture, because Soddenmore family is kind of like dock workers, and there's a lot of like swampy stuff. So this is kind of his wheelhouse too. So I picture like since we've said that we were going to do it, he's just been over like stripping down into his like underwear, and it's just kind of gainly and old, sitting by it, like limbering up and stretching, getting ready to jump in. Just
Oh my gosh, I am totally picturing like old guy at the beach. Like that is like the
absolutely
vibe.
All right, let's see which one of you dives in first. High or low? Maitre, call it. Do you want 1, 2, 3, or do you want 4, 5, 6?
5.
Okay, so you're gonna go 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is gonna be who gets to go first. Mila, you get it. It's 4, 5, 6.
Hell
so
yes.
Mila, you dive in first. Okay, so mechanically, it takes an action to dive to the bottom of this lake, and then it would probably take another to come back up. You are specifically looking for Sarabam. She describes some kind of chest. So what I would like you to do is just put together a little pool for where you think would help you like dive down there and swim and kind of look around and stuff. And I have some stuff that might work against you.
So for the diving down, I do think it's just kind of brute forcing it.
Okay.
And because I'm going down, I actually think the bag of rocks helps with the gravity and sort of helping me sink down faster.
Okay. Your diving
like
weights.
You have a diving belt. Okay.
Diving weights, exactly. Thanks, sir.
Okay. So yeah, Mila, go ahead and give a roll.
So strong as the rocks, test of strength, and bag of rocks is what I was thinking.
Gotcha. And there, I'm just gonna put the murky water as working against you. Hard to see,
Okay.
kind of thing.
And that's a quick roll?
Yeah. This is really just to see whether or not you get down there without issue.
Okay. Okie doke.
Oh, you guys, you used up all your really good roll luck.
Yeah. I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to say that with an 8, you dive down. But I'm going to say as a consequence, some of the rocks, as we treated your rocks, hang on one second. You actually put it in as a tag.
Yeah, it would be a 9, so it's still in the 7 to 9 range.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
So I'm just going to say your bag of rocks, some of them fall out as you dive down. And so you lose a few of them, and so we will tick it down to it's not as helpful now. So now it's like, instead of it being like rocks 2, it's rocks 1. It's essentially where we're at. Okay. But you do manage to dive down in. You feel yourself sinking into this like thicker than normal water. It's definitely hard to see. It's murky. As you get closer to the bottom of the lake, you can start to feel these plants, these long, like kelp-like plants begin to wrap around your legs and your arms as you're kind of looking around. And before I kind of tell you what you see down here, or what you do down here, we're going to come back up, and I'm going to give the spotlight to Spoonbill as he was next ready to go. You definitely see Mila dive in and disappear from sight. You see ripples of the water go out in different directions, and you can see it kind of laps up against the ruin of the tower in the middle of that boggy area as well, Spoonbill. There's also the sound of thunder overhead as you hear like those thunder clouds that you saw looming above that dark hilly forest have started to encroach. You know that it's not long before rain might cause some trouble. So Spoonbill, what do you think you're doing here?
Diving in. So there's just this pool. She said it's like kind of just in the center of this pool area, right? Or is
Yeah, she says that at the bottom, just at the bottom, the lake, the ruin. There is a chest.
Okay. Well, time to get your definitely not evil little rock and jumping in and like perfect form. And start just trying to swim down as much as I can.
Yeah, give me a little pool here of dice to get you going.
So how is Soddenmore family? Is that only like when your family name matters, or is that like things that
if you can find a way,
the region?
Like Soddenmore family. I'm not like. I feel like there's a couple extra steps you'd have to take to say why that would help you swim.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I would call it applicable in this situation. Right.
Yeah, that's
but like
fine.
if you were like in town and you were like boasting about being from Soddenmore or something like that, or you heard rumors about something from Soddenmore, to me, that's like where it would very obviously come into play.
Sure. Okay. I will say maybe well-traveled and tenacious as
Both
things
make
that help
sense.
me just swim into murky water like that. And then I want to leverage discern magic too. I'm assuming this is probably not a mundane little box or rock that we're going after, so I'm trying to hone in on any magical
this is just the
vibes.
dive down. I don't think discern magic would be on this roll to just dive down into the water.
Maybe
But,
later
like,
in the process.
finding it and looking at it later might it would be useful. But here, probably
Sure. Okay. That works. I'll just do those two.
yeah. And then murky water is working against you, so it's like a -1
Yep.
here.
Looks like it's applied.
It should be applied. Oh boy, you guys burnt all your good rolls back in town.
So unfortunate. So unfortunate.
Okay. That is a fail. So what I'm going to say is you dive down. That's not an issue. But unbeknownst to Mila, and because it's so dark and murky down here, and everybody else, you're going to become, we're going to call it Entangled 1. As you dive down, and as you're swimming around and trying to find like a broken section of the tower's wall that you can swim into, or seeing exactly where Mila might have gone, all these plants are just, it's very hard to see. Stuff moves around and you look and it's not her. It's just this leaf that's lilting. So give yourself Entangled 1 as you're now kind of caught up in some of these plants.
Okay.
I'm going to come back up to the top before I decide who's getting the spotlight. Were anybody else up on the surface planning to dive down into the water?
Not dive down,
Slag
but
made a deal,
Yeah.
so he would go.
Okay. Gwylt, you said you're not going to dive?
no,
but you're gonna
I
do
have something else I'm going to do.
Okay. Let me go through the people who are going to go in the water. So Slag, why don't you're just doing the same thing. You're diving in. You're seeing the water is like the currents, the ripples are becoming more pronounced, and like there's now splashing up against the ruins. It's no longer this like placid, smooth surface, and there's a lot of disturbance in the water now at this point. How would Slag want to put a pool together to dive down?
I don't know if this matters mechanically or not, but Slag would like take off his cedar shield and just leave it up because he doesn't want to just submerge that or possibly lose it down below. But then for the pool, I would argue
you hand it to one of your retainers, right?
Yes.
I can take
that's
that
why we
for
brought
you,
them
sir.
along.
Yeah, got that. No problem.
I would argue punishment enduring would help you hold your breath, right? Because you can deal with the pain
for
of that
sure.
a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I would say my blacksmith hammer. It's just like a heavy weight to help pull me down. And
I
he's
gave it
not
to
as-
Mila, so I got to give it to you. Okay. Yeah.
I love it.
You are risking losing it though, but yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And then I would also say he's a deep thinker. So the deeper he gets in this lake, the more he's able to process.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here.
That's
All right, for real,
amazing logic.
sharing the
That is
burden. Everyone else.
the funniest and the stupidest thing ever.
What?
I love it though.
I
saw
love
that
What
for
a
everyone.
bastard you are. Oh, Jesus.
You should
Oh,
give it to him
goodness.
just because it was so
was amazing.
ridiculous. Thinker.
I want to give it to him, but I don't. I don't want to. Oh God. Never set a precedent.
I didn't think you'd like that one that much. I'm used to my dumb jokes just going deep.
Because I'm going deep and I'm thinking.
So I would argue sharing the burden, because he did agree to this, and he doesn't want to go down there, but he also doesn't want to leave his friends to do it by themselves.
You're not letting the other two go down alone. Okay, I think in this
Yes.
case, I think you've framed it well. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
It's pretty good.
And then
I
I'll go
think,
ahead and do a drawback with ill fortune follows. See how
Okay.
that goes.
Good. And you got the murky water. Obviously, it's working against you here.
Yes.
Melissa's already got the episode title.
Hey, cash in on the joke.
Just barely a 7.
Deep thinking with Jack Handy. Okay. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do kind of a mix of what happens between the previous two. As you dive down and you're sinking just fine, but as you get down to the bottom, where all of this like strong, thick, dark, like it's almost like kelp, but obviously this is a bog. It's not quite it, but it's like it wraps around not you, but it wraps around that big hammer of yours. And as you continue to descend, your hammer gets wrenched out of your hand. You know exactly where it's at. It's right next to you, but like it's you're not entangled, but your blacksmith. So I'm gonna say, but your blacksmith hammer is. So I'm gonna say scratch your blacksmith hammer temporarily, but it would need you to take some kind of action in the future to try to recover it. But it like you kind of lose it in your hand, and it gets caught up in one of these plants. And then Diminy, were you gonna come down as well?
Yes, I am. What I would like to try to do is have Sasha kind of try to help me out from above. So I'm not entirely sure how she may be able to do that, but like maybe one of our well-apportioned traveling companions that we spent all of our time gathering last time maybe has like some rope or something that like Sasha's going to be like above trying to like help me kind of go down so that I don't just drown, and she can at least pull my dead body out of the bog.
Okay. Sure. You guys did mention like sharpening stuff and whatever. No one really mentioned getting supplies.
I wasn't necessarily going to count it
that lantern
or anything.
Yeah.
Like I was really just going to go. Yeah,
just flavoring
that's more
with her. Okay.
flavor that she's my apprentice. And then attention to detail is that I'm kind of like following the path where kind of the others have swam before me.
The water has really started to churn up a bit, and you're seeing like all sorts of like peat and other things coming up to the surface. It's getting thick and gross, and the water itself, it definitely seems to be sloshing around quite a bit. Okay.
All right. So I've got a +2. You're going to throw on any.
Yeah, already done.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let's see if the dice rolls luck have turned. All right. I got an 8.
Okay.
This is good. Didn't fail.
Okay. You get into the same issue, we'll say, that Spoonbill does, and that you also find yourself, once you get to the bottom, really get tangled up in some of these. You can still move a bit, but you're struggling to move as you get down. Like right when you tear yourself free from one of these tall underwater leaves, you find yourself immediately get tangled up in the next one. So give yourself entangled one as well.
All right.
And you find yourself like sluggish and slow. And then, so that was all. I'm saying those were all relatively simultaneous actions, the 4 of you within seconds kind of diving into water. Gwylt, you said you weren't going in the water, but there was something else that you wanted to do.
No, I mean, so he looks at this. These are clearly ancient ruins. We've got the strange things to cover. This is a cursed place. And even though he may not know the specifics of it, he knows that something terrible is waiting for them when they go in the water, when they're diving into these murky, horrible bog waters at this cursed place. So he's going to do the only thing that he knows to do in such a terrible situation. He's going to try and reduce the negative energy in this place. And he's just going to start just dip his head into the water and just drink and like just take in as much this horrible, filthy bog water. Just drink it up as much as you can, and then retch it out. And then drink more, and then retch it out, shouting out Sklivoth, which is like this old ancient curse for like just profound filth, trying to like drink up the curse, give it a different form by pronouncing it with those ancient curse words, and then spitting it out, hopefully take away some of the penalties that might be in this filthy bog. So what I'm hoping to go with is Curse Eater. He can digest anything. He can digest this ancient filthy bog water. He's got rugged tenacity. Maybe he can handle binge drinking all this horrible bog water. And then foul-mouthed. Or no, I mean, ancient curse words. But at the same time, he is drinking...
You don't even have to roll. There's actually no roll necessary. You drink up the water. And while the water is absolutely filthy, you do get the sense that there is a somewhat diluted nature to it. And it's not an unfamiliar taste. It does taste a little bit like the muck and the grime that those corpses that were walking across the crossroads that they were expelling. It's very much like that, except it's very diluted. So what I'm just going to tell you is like this is just for free.
Okay.
You're unable to lessen it, but you do get the sense that there is something more concentrated that is likely at the bottom, and that as it's rising and spreading into the water, it's just becoming more and more diluted.
Okay,
but
I meant well. I thought I was going to try and reduce penalties for others.
There's no they're not getting a penalty for anything. So what I'm just trying to say to you is that like you know that there is that like you are certain that this is the source of what you saw before, but just drinking the water isn't going to do anything.
Okay,
it's just
you
too
learn
much.
something
There's too many waters and too much thing. There's too much stuff in it that seems to be coming up that you don't think you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good intentions,
but we know
wasted
we know
action.
we got to dive.
No worries.
We know we got to dive down.
Yep.
Like that was very important information for us to learn. That like it may or may not be the opal, but there's definitely something at the bottom that is causing this. So that was very valuable information that you just got for us.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So while you're scooping it up and getting more and more like this understanding of this concentrated miasmic like foulness that seems to be coming up from the bottom, those of you in the water, in your various spots, I'm going to say Spoonbill, maybe you're the one with the lantern because I think you specifically asked about it, right? So there is this diffuse glow, but you see movement here and there, and at first, maybe Spoonbill, you think that it is just one of these like big leaves, these big like those big kind of kelp-like plants. But you realize like it's coming too high, and it's like it's not attached to the ground. As you notice, this long, slithering, like writhing worm or eel-like creature seems to be moving through and unfettered by the tangle of these plants, and seems to be slithering towards you with the light entangled up. I will say, because there is a little bit of light down here, Dimity, Slag, Mila, all three of you would also be able to see that there is something moving. You might not be as certain of what it is, but you know there's something down here with you. I'm going to give the first action to Spoonbill because you see this thing's coming for you. You are entangled. You do have a little bit of light that making everything just a little bit lighter. What would you like to do down here?
I need to get it unentangled. So how big is this thing? And there's like a lot of croppings and stone and stuff. Like my goal is to try and get it to try and weave if it's going after me and crash into something.
You want to try to like elude it? Is that what you're trying to do? Okay, yeah, absolutely. Like there's definitely broken walls and stones and big clumps and blocks and stuff, and that you could try to like swim through it. That entangled one condition is going to be working against you, or status is going to be working against you. So go ahead and put together a pool to try to like elude it, as this thing is clearly slithering and slithering towards you.
Okay. Can I say tenacious? What about bear the pain? If I'm just like not being very careful about how I'm ripping myself out of it and just kind of letting it like scrape at me or whatever. And being very just quick about it. I'll say bear the pain. I don't really know what else. Maybe the sight, if I'm trying to see more clearly things, like a path to go, like, because it's kind of murky and stuff. So just trying to get a better path planned out than my eyes would normally be able to see.
Yeah, go ahead and take it. I'm going to be activating a few things against you, I think. Okay. Hang on. Let me see if I can make this work. I'm not sure if this is helping you or hurting you. I've screwed it up a few times already.
I think it looks like those are going to help me.
We'll see, because that's what I thought last time, and then when it rolled, it actually, So
we'll
either
look
way,
at it.
You've got 2. Yep. Plus your own status working against you. You're entangled.
Yep.
Ooh.
I think you're
still okay. You rolled a 13, but you should have had a -3 on it. So you should have had a total of +2. But even with your 6 and a 3, that still would have put you at 11. So you're still you still have a success, but you only have 2 power to spend. You don't have that 4 power it says there, because the stuff didn't factor in. Okay, great. So what would you like to do?
I'd like it to try and like chase me. I picture I weave in a way that it kind of slams into a wall or something and kind of dazes itself and maybe gets a little bit slowed down.
Sure.
It's not as.
Do you want to? So I can give you like 2 suggestions. You could give it a status of like dazed 1. You could also give it dazed 2, and you could also, if you wanted to split your statuses, you could use like one of your power to buy down your entanglement, so that you're no longer entangled. Then you swim into the rocks, and then and so you can give it dazed 1. Is that what you want to do? Okay.
Yeah, I want to do dazed 1 and then get rid of my entangled.
Okay. So those of you down in the water, you see suddenly this shadow swim down, and then it kind of dives down with great speed at Spoonbill. Spoonbill, struggling to get free, finally manages to wrench himself free and dives into the ruins, the rocky ruins, like weaving between some of the stones, as this creature like snaps at him but misses, and you see its head kind of go against one of the stones, but then it resets, and it's like looking around as if it's like trying to find another bit of prey. I'm going to go back to Mila, as you were the first person down here. You see the struggle of Spoonbill. You can see like there's other people down here. It's still very murky, but you can kind of see shadows. You might not know it's Spoonbill, but you certainly see like a big, like this snake, this creature charging after. And you also know that there's got to be some kind of chest down here. So what would you like to do?
I want to go after this thing.
Okay.
And use my holes and grapples to try and like hold it against me. Ooh. I wonder if I might use the dazed that Spoonbill just made to make it a little easier.
That'll definitely work.
Okay. Yeah. So that is test of strength and holes and grapples. I'm wondering if, you know what? No. I was gonna ask about Drunken Master Brawling, but it doesn't fit here.
Strong as an ox, though.
Strong as an ox does, yeah. Thanks. How do you feel about Tavern Brawler?
Gotta undo a few things. I think Timer Burn is fine because it's like it's your fighting tags for sure.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna
Nice.
go ahead and hit its dazed. Okay.
You've got 5 things working for you.
Quick roll or detailed?
Oh no, this is detailed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thanks. Just double checking.
Not rolling around now.
No.
Okay. Wait a second.
Oh,
So
no,
none of the negatives came through.
yeah.
None of your. Okay, so it's where I've done it both ways and it's still not working. It's so strange.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
they just didn't show up at all on this one, so.
Well, the daze is working in her favor, so it should work in her favor.
Right, right.
Okay.
But I should have a -2.
You're still good.
Right?
I think you still got like a 10 because it's
Yeah.
really just like
Yeah.
entangling plants and murky water working against you. So you're still at a 10, and you have 4 power to spend.
Hey.
Wow, that's a hell of a roll. I lied.
Great roll.
Hell yes. Can I add to the dazed?
Sure. Yeah. You want to? So you have 4. Honestly, you have 4 too. So there's like a lot you could potentially do with 4 power. So just to sort of peel back, like how it works when you fight monsters, they have limits, just like any other challenge. And usually those limits are somewhere between like 2 and 6, which means you're trying to apply statuses somewhere. So it depends on how strong of a creature it is. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 5. It's really strong. 6, it's really strong. So like if you tried to hurt it, like you specifically wanted to like literally grapple it.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to fight it down here and you wanted to do harm to it, you certainly could.
Well, that's what I want to do. I think maybe instead of dazed, then it's crushed.
Okay. So
Yeah.
swim at it, lunge at it, get it in your hands, and you grab it up by the head, and you just start squeezing. And as you do, you just feel it suddenly go limp in your arms. If you put your power into
what's
it,
her
you
name
just one-shot this thing.
Yay.
Unfortunately, as you look up, you realize how
Awesome.
dark it is. You realize how absolutely dark it is.
Look around like someone's torn off.
Okay.
Somebody
Okay.
see that I did a great job. Somebody see. No? I'll tell them later. It's fine.
So just to reset it, Spoonbill breaks free, swims into the ruins. It snaps after you, but it smashes its head against the rocks. And then as it kind of tries to get its bearings back, in comes Mila, just wraps her big old arms around it because she's a big girl, as we heard, and just squeezes until you hear something crack. Like you just feel like this like dull crack, and then it goes completely limp as you've just killed this worm. And
There's a lot of neck to break in a snake.
Yeah. Okay. She's got a lot of arms, or a lot of meat in those arms. Okay, so this thing is, and so now you have this dead snake carcass in your hands. So I'm gonna toss this over to, I think Slag was the next one to go in. So Slag, you see whatever's going on over there. You also realize your freaking hammer is stuck. What do you want to do, Slag?
I think as Mila is just like grappling with this thing, Slag saw the movement. He saw a massive creature moving. And as she is like crushing that, he's just gripping the hammer, and you just see him like in a very smaller version of what she's doing. He's trying to free his hammer from this entangled vines, and not even looking up at that point to even see that the creature's dead. Just thinking he needs this to hammer the creature.
Okay, so you're trying to get your hammer back? Okay, yeah. So just some kind of strength, whatever. So you're entangle.
Yeah, if you flip entangle and murky, it should work against me at that point.
I did that before.
So that color there, that
the
color's
green and
bad,
the yellow, right?
But the other one is good. Like you flipped them and you flipped them back for me.
Okay.
There. So that will be bad for
All right.
me. There we go.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right. So I would say
I get confused because in the book, blue or green is status, and then like yellow is tag.
Oh,
so like,
I see.
I don't think about it being positive and negative. So like, yeah.
Makes sense.
So I would say blacksmith. I know my way around a blacksmith hammer could work for me. Yeah, maybe.
You know your way around.
you know your.
Is it a complicated
it's my hammer.
device?
Yes,
Is it like a? Is it like a?
I also
V8?
have a. Got no actual traits that help me for this, so I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Ignore pain
Sure.
as well. So if this is like hurting my muscles or my lungs,
Okay.
I would call on that one.
You could
And that
always
would be my
you
two.
could always voluntarily scratch that to get 3 power too.
Yeah, we'll scratch ignore pain.
Okay. All right, give it
Let's
a
roll
go.
this.
So that's going to give you the +2. You won't be able to use it again though.
Ooh, there we go.
Okay, there we go. That's a good roll.
That's an 11, even with the -2.
Okay,
Nice,
you got
nice,
one
nice.
power. Oh, we'll just make this a quick. It doesn't even have to be because it had like you're just gonna rip. So you have
Yeah.
your hammer free, no consequence.
Awesome.
Rip your hammer
That's all I
free.
wanted.
Okay.
And then I
Right.
look over and I see that I don't even need it because this thing's dead.
Okay. Dimity, you look around, you can see like one of the whoever had the lantern, probably Spoonbill, kind of disappeared from view. You can see like this dark shadow that is like strangling a snake. You haven't seen any signs of the chest yet. What would you like to do?
I would say Dimity is motivated to find out the truth and has attention to detail. So, like, she's still looking for the chest. Like, that's what she is focused on.
Yeah. Give me some kind of roll to sort of as you swim around and look. We'll just make this. Give me a roll because it's not so much about whether you do or don't. It's about how long it takes you to and whether or not you suffer in the process of looking for it.
Oh, I am sure that I will.
So you are down in this
Sure that I
dark,
will
murky
suffer.
water with all these like entangling plants.
All right.
The luck
dice-
is coming back.
Dice
though.
luck came back. That is a
Okay.
13.
All right. So with a 13, you very much notice in like this small, like where one of the walls is broken down from the tower, and you can kind of see into it. There's a small little kind of cubby area almost now, and you can see like half sticking out of the muck. You notice that there is like the chest. But I'll also say, because you rolled so well, there's a second thing you see, and that you notice like off in this little relatively clear area, like this patch where all of that kelp and stuff seems to not be growing from, almost as if it's like as if it's like been burnt away. You can kind of see some kind of dark, foul, viscous kind of fluid that seems to be pumping up into this bog from the earth below. So it's like not the pool itself, like the bog that you're in that seems to be the source of this like this miasma, this curse, this issue that you guys are worrying about, but it's something even further below in the bones and the deep earth of the dales, and it is billowing up into the bog, and it's like I was saying to Gwylt before, kind of diluting into the water here and there. And so those are the two things that you can see down here. They're not near each other. So like the chest and you don't have to necessarily like go pass it in any way. But you see it, and we'll say, do you start swimming to the chest, I'm assuming?
Yeah, like from a metagaming perspective, I don't know what Gwylt learned yet. So I think I would make note of this fact, but I don't know that I would know the urgency of doing something about it. So I would make note of it and focus on the chest. So avoiding the metagame of it.
And you're able
because
to-
I just want to like close it up, but I don't know that I should do that.
So you swim over towards it doesn't look like you could close it up. It's like literally, it's like an oil breach coming up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you swim over to the chest, and you try to pull it out, but it's definitely heavy. Like this is a very heavy looking chest, and it's waterlogged as you're trying to dislodge it. We'll go up to the surface then. And so on the surface, Gwylt, which you see, and Mila, I'm just going to say like maybe you let go of the snake and the snake just floats up to the surface. And so Gwylt, as you're looking down, you're drinking the water, you're getting the taste of this like the more and more you take, the more and more you realize like there's something quite foul that's like spilling into this place. And then you just see floating up to the surface, there is this large snake, this large kind of green slick snake with like kind of this discoloration, this tarnish to it, and its head is kind of cocked to the side as it looks like it's dead, but it's just floating on the water right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I hate this, but that seems the thing to do because I can taste the foulness. Oh God, diving down but intentionally drinking in the water while you're diving down just sounds like the worst thing possible. But it sounds like the thing to do because I know there's something down there. So I'm going to use my terrible ability to taste the curse, dive down, and just continue to like take a sip of the water here and there as I dive down, trying to find wherever that source is.
Yeah, give me a pool. The murkiness of the water will work against you.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing.
So maybe curse eating.
Based on what
Digest
you're
anything?
doing, yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe digest anything because I am like ingesting the water.
And it's not just water, but you're digesting like filth.
It's filth. And then because I'm swimming, maybe good reflexes. So I'm avoiding junk in there. Apparently, there's stuff in there that you could get stuck on. So maybe having good reflexes could help me keep from getting stuck. And I also have rugged tenacity. But at the same time, I would like to plug. I am prone to being screwed over by ancient curses. I'm intentionally moving towards a cursed thing, but I am prone to being cursed.
Okay. Give it a rip, man.
All right.
You got this.
Yeah, this is fine. What's the worst that could happen?
Okay. Pretty good.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
I'll say that since this is not just your physical body doing this, but you're like tapping into like your old ways, your curse-eating magical tendencies, it's almost like you're zeroing in on this fissure, and just like I just described to Dimity, you're able to track it down, and you can see seeping into this pool, this bog water, is this miasma that's coming up and out. Now, I would say there's probably two things that you can conclude as you are over top of it. Like, you certainly could try to physically suture this or put rocks on it. It would cause a lot of, there'd be a lot that you'd have to do to make sure this isn't billowing up. So that's possible. It's like putting a Band-Aid on like, somebody who just had like open heart surgery, like, but the more important thing that dawns on you is that this is flowing up from below, which means it's not the pool, but it's the waters beneath the dales, and the water beneath the dales flows everywhere, which means the source of this miasma that animated these other corpses, as now that you're here, you're looking around and you're seeing there's more of those like bog corpses, much like you saw. Some of them are like tangled up in some of the kelp, others are like half buried in the ground. But the very thing that animated them is flowing in the very water that runs underneath the dales, that feeds every stream, every pond, every lake, and every river across the entirety of the dales. So while you could certainly try to fix this one pond, there is a much larger and a much bigger issue than maybe you realized before you dove in.
Of course, he can't say what he wants to say because he's underwater, but
Right.
as the bubbles come up, cartoonishly, curse words pop out.
Bubble.
Okay. I'm going to throw it back to Spoonbill. As everyone's down in the water now, the immediate threat of this snake seems to have been dissipated. Spoonbill, you're weaving throughout the stone of the ruin, and then you finally catch sight of somebody else. As you see, there's Dimity, who's trying to pull on this big old chest that seems to be half buried in the muck at the bottom of this pool. What'd you like to do, man?
It's like buried in the muck, whatever. I've got my
It's like half buried. Like she's making progress, but it's slowly.
Mhm.
It's slowly.
I've got my trusty walking stick that I
Okay.
could, like, kind of pry bar in and
Little
push up.
fulcrum action or whatever.
Yeah. See if I can wedge it underneath.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say between the two of you, you're able to no roll. You just wedge it and you pop it free. And so now it's just about carrying it up to the surface. It's very, very heavy. But there's two of you. So if you wanted to try to like take some kind of action to try to swim this up to the surface, you certainly could.
Sure. If we're rolling together, how does that work? Does one of us roll like a setup and then the second person rolls, or
You could certainly do it that way. Someone could roll something and then like you create a temporary status to give to somebody else. What we've done in the past before is you just had somebody else like just activate if they have their own tags.
Offer a tag.
Just give
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a little faster.
for flavor, I had said that Sasha kind of put something together so that like I could make
That's
use
true.
of her like carry a lot. So then I can
Yeah.
offer the carry a lot tag to your roll, Joe.
Okay.
okay?
Yeah. Go take
I'll
that extra
say-
bonus.
Yeah, I'll throw quickly recover my strength, and I don't know what other
Tenacious?
tags though. Yeah, tenacious.
Nimble fingers, because you're trying to like swim and hold at the same time.
Sure. If Jeff will allow it, I think so.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then I'm getting one bonus. There's the heavy negative tag,
The heavy is the chest itself. So yeah. That's his
Okay.
own tag.
and then is it a positive mod then for the
For Sasha.
tag
For
I'm
Dimity?
receiving?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
Oh,
Not a good roll. Okay. Yeah, so with an 8, which isn't great,
Mhm.
I'll say that the two of you are trying as best you can. You're pulling it up, but it's very slow going. Maybe the rope is kind of getting that you had the magical rope that we somehow found that is like wrapped around Dimity is helping pull and pull, but it's getting caught up and tangled up more. And so like the two of you in this chest are now like kind of caught up and tangled within this kelp. We'll say like maybe you're next to Slag. So Slag, you wrench your blacksmith hammer free. You look around. You see Milla is just watching the snake kind of float up to the surface. You see like another figure dive down off to the side. You can't quite make out who it is. But then you see coming towards you the light. And there is Spoonbill, there is Dimity, and there is this chest that the two of them are hauling up. So they're not able to fully get all the way to the top. But maybe looking at time, maybe we do it this way. Why don't we all just narrate as opposed to roll? Because you guys are going to get up. There's plenty of you down here. So Slag, starting with you, just narrate for me like how you help kind of get the chest up to the surface.
Yeah, I think as soon as he like got the hammer free, he was planning on going back to the surface anyways. So maybe it took him a little bit longer to get it free, and they were already up. And he just like kicks off the bottom and like gives him a little bit of a push on his way up.
Okay, and so you just give it a push, and maybe that like snaps it free from one of the kelp. Mila, you see like the group of them trying to work this chest up. What do you think you do? Just narrate. Like,
I
what do you
think
think you do to
she
help?
just swims over and just tries to help with brute force, trying to like lift the chest out and
Okay.
pull it out of the muck, and like I don't think it's more complicated than just
Sure.
forcing it.
So the four of you are just pushing up, and eventually it pops up onto the surface. You're able to kind of push it up towards, and like your entourage comes and starts helping drag it up. Meanwhile, down in the water, Gwylt, there you are staring at this fissure in the ground, this where this horrible stuff is pouring out into the pond, and dawning on you that this could be happening in so many other places across the Dales. What do you think Gwylt is thinking in this moment?
Unfortunately, I think the first thing that comes to mind is one of my flaws. I can handle it. And this is too much. It is. And at the same time, some part of him thinks if he can just consume enough of this, maybe it will lessen the problems. Like, he's smart to know he can't completely deal with this, but he's also headstrong and foolish enough to think that he should, as Slag would say, take on the burden, like just consume as much as possible to the point that he almost can't take anymore and then let himself float up.
Okay. So almost like a kid trying to get a drink from a broken fire hydrant.
Yes.
And just like right over top of it, it's just pouring into you and pouring into you. And then up on the surface, we'll say, as you guys are dragging the chest up, it like pops open, and you can see like Sarabomb kind of comes over, and inside there is this sword. It's like kind of it doesn't look actually in bad shape. It seems to kind of be like wrapped up, so it kind of protecting it a little bit from some of the water decay. You see like a vial of some kind with this like swirling bluish liquid. And then you see a very large opal that is probably as big as palm. Now, there's like other stuff in here as well, but all of that seems to have like decayed over time. But those three things seem to remain intact. And like Sarabomb quickly comes over and she's like, "Oh, wonderful. You all did such a wonderful job. Yes, I don't mind if I do." And she's like reaching past you. Is any of you trying to stop her at this point?
No, this was a deal. Yep.
Okay. So she reaches, again, I am so very grateful. Thank you so very much. You all did a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. The remainder do with as you see fit. And then as she's standing there, it's like, "Oh, well, it looks like your friend has had some trouble." And when you guys look over towards the lake, you see, much like the body of the snake just floated and popped out of the water, you see there's Gwylt suddenly popping up out of the waters. All your heads are looking at him. And then when you go to turn back to look towards Sarabomb, she's not there. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end for tonight. We're going to pick up on that next time.
Okay.
And that's it.
I did my half of the deal. Why is she not doing her? She has to tell me stuff. Oh my goodness. I better get a letter with a lot of information in the mail tomorrow, or I will be very upset.
I did tell you stuff.
We made it to the bottom and back. Oh. That's amazing. We got her the opal, and really, really bad things are going to happen now that she is back in possession of that opal.
No, it's fine.
I didn't even realize what time it was. I thought we were still going to play it for a bit longer.
It's pretty late. Well, the camp stuff took like a freaking hour.
We like our downtime.
We love our downtime
on this channel.
We do love our downtime.
Embellish it quite often. All right, let's do a couple closing plugs so we can get on out of here. My Trey, where can we find you on the internet?
My Trey plays games on YouTube where I make system agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the dream of play experience.
Fantastic. Steven, you have also made a game. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I made a game called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West action horror game. Think Hellboy and Tombstone. It is available for pre-order right now. Go to huckleberryrpg.com/pre-order. Use code LOLLY for $5 off. And I sent the files to the printer very late last night. So we are officially going to print. Technically today, yes. It was very early this morning is when I sent files to print. But we are officially going to print. So we should be fulfilling very soon.
That's so awesome, dude. So happy for you. I'm so excited to actually get the physical copy in the hand, see all the awesome work that you've been doing all this time. Fantastic. As for us, streaming wise, tomorrow night, we got some Wild Sea. Thursday, we've got some Coriolis, The Great Dark. Saturday, we've got the One Ring 2nd edition, and then we'll be back next Monday with more Legendinthemist. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to those of you who rated us tonight. If you're watching or listening to this later, thank you so much. Do a like, subscribe, comment, sort of thing, all that wonderful things. Have a great rest of your night. See y'all later. Bye-bye.